Last round of the tournament. I'm 2.5 points out of 4, and I'm playing against the strongest player I've ever met. A Fide Master rated 2250 player. He's a monster, close to a god, I will say. A really strong player, so let's see what happened. Luckily, I'm playing as white. At least I have the advantage in the opening, maybe, so let's see. I played d4 obviously, and he replied with c5. Every scrum player that wants to win is going to play c5. It's like a rule. So if you play the Alpine against a scrum player, and with scrum player I mean someone with rated like 1700 or more, they are going to play knight on f6. It's just a rule, basically. So knight on f6 is a really strong line against the Alpine, and I play d5. I was kinda prepared, but you know, a Fide Master should be more prepared than me. He played d6. Like, e6 is not the best move. You should play knight c6 or d6 instead. Usually knight c6 is considered to be better. You can play e6 and then you can play d4. Like, it's not that black is losing, we are equal, is the Alpine, but white should be better, or at least should have an advantage. And now I played bishop on c4. Now instead of playing d4, right now I should have played bishop on c4. I just didn't remember. I thought it was pretty much the same. Is not, because you don't have to play d4. At this point they can play d6, or knight on b6 you go back, and if they play c4, which is a move but not in this position, they actually get in trouble. So this happens if you don't play d4. That's why I should have played this move now instead of playing d4. But after they take, I knew that there was this line bishop on c4. So bishop on c4 is playable. You can take. I'm going to take this. And let's say you play this, I'm going to be 300 times better. I'm going to win this pawn. So you can't really do this. And if you go back, for example, and you take the pawn, we have to dispose into a gambit that I can kinda know. So it is a tricky move, definitely, but my opponent is a Fide Master. He knows pretty much everything, and he decided to play d6. I didn't know what to play against d6, but after you take, we dispose into a main line. As simple as that. A line where they play e6 and d6 is playable, and you should know your stuff against this line, and I don't really know it. So he played bishop on e7, which obviously is a move, and now queen on e2. Queen on e2 is a move. I wasn't sure it was a move in this position, but it is a common move played in pretty much all the lines. It just makes sense. Having a queen on e2. After that you castle, you want the rook on d1 and on c1 usually. Maybe even rook on e1, and I'm putting pressure on the e file. It just makes sense, and if they take, we are not going to play queens. So yeah, it is just a sensible move. Now this position has not been played. I mean, it has been played, but quite a few times. The best move is supposed to be short castle, but queen on e2 is perfectly fine, and white actually has, and I win in advantage, and I win in percentage. So short castle, b6, and now you could play rook on d1 or knight on c3. I didn't know what to do, and I was like, well, usually knight on c3 is a move. It kinda is a move, but not in this position actually, because if you play knight on c3, I mean, it's playable, but after they take and you take, your strategy is terrible. Your strategy is just terrible. This pawn is super weak. Your bishop doesn't even make a lot of sense. You could take and damage everything. I might have a decent attack, but it's nothing crazy. Bishop on b7, and now I played rook on d1. Rook on d1 is not super precise. Well, no, okay, you're saying it's the best move, but rook on d1 there is queen on c7, and it is really difficult to play now. Yeah, I wasn't happy at all about this position, and this happened when you play against a strong player. He just outplays you in the opening, and there isn't too much you can do about that. I was even prepared in the Alpine, but I mean, he was definitely much more prepared than me. And yeah, okay. After this move, this position wasn't played on the lichess database, so this is a new position, which is not a good thing. Bishop on d2 is not a good move. I mean, okay, I'm defending this, but you could already take, for example. You take, I have to take with this pawn, because if I take with the queen, I lose the bishop. Oh wait, no, okay, not in this case. In this case, if you take, I can take with the queen. Yeah, okay. And I saw this. So, in this position, I'm still fine. So that's why I decided to play bishop on d2. But after this, and I decided to take because, I mean, there is too much pressure. I decided to take, and I played bishop on b3. So now it doesn't have any sort of tactic, because in this case rooks are defended. Now you could take and win a pawn. And you decided to go for it. Now I decided to go for this line because my opponent had a ton of activity. I played badly in the opening, so I was like, okay, I'm going to give him a pawn, but I'm going to have a lot of activity, which is a clever thing to do. Especially against a strong player, having a strong attack for the cost of one pawn, just one H pawn, just makes a ton of sense. And as you can see, I'm down a pawn, but not even that worst, because I have a decent attack going on. After this, now bishop on c2. Apparently g4 was better. I'm not going to play g4. I'm not going to play g4. I was thinking about g3. The problem of g3 is that it can find a way to trade queens. Although I shouldn't be too scared about that. I mean, right now my goal is to draw the game, is not to win, of course. So it makes sense. But yeah, bishop on c2 is still a really good move. I mean, I'm putting pressure on the king side. As you can see, I have a decent attack going on. So it's not a terrible move at all. And e5 is imprecise. If you find the queen on h3. Okay, why didn't I play queen on h3? I think there was a point, but I don't remember it. Because if you play queen on h3, I mean, he has to play g6. And after that, what? Bishop g5? Yeah, but I mean, it's not super clear. Yeah, maybe I didn't want to play this because there is still the bishop hanging. I mean, if you take, there is the bishop hanging, so I wasn't sure about it. For this reason, I decided to play rook on c1. So if you take and I take, there is also the threat of the discovery. So it just makes sense. Rook on e8 and now rook on e1, defending the file. He decided to take. We played one pair of rooks. And I decided to take. Now there is this threat. Of course, he's going to see it. And he played queen on d8. As you can see, I'm down a pawn, but we are equal because my pieces, well, are maybe better, I'm not sure about it, but I have the pair of bishops, which is an advantage. That's why it's pretty much equal, and my king is not that weak, to be fair. So, queen on h3, which is pretty tricky. The idea of queen on h3 is that, let's say you defend with the g-pawn, I am going to play bishop on a4. This was my idea, because the knight is pinned, and now it's not easy to defend at all. So it makes a ton of sense. My opponent, although is pretty strong, and he played knight on f8, which I missed. Knight on f8 is a really strong defensive move, although it weakens the square, so now I might have some idea with rook on c8. So first of all, I played bishop on e3. Now, I wanted to play a crazy move, if I remember correctly, but what was it? Okay, I wanted to play bishop on e4, but I thought it didn't work because of rook on e2. The point is that this is not a great move to play. Yeah, there is queen on e7. Yeah, I have absolutely nothing. Okay, I evaluated this correctly, luckily. So after this, I just decided to play bishop on e3 because I want to prevent the rook infiltration. Makes sense. And now queen on f6. King on g1. Don't want to play queens. And now I kinda have to play queens. Like, he decided to play queens. If I don't, he's going to win this pawn and I lose. So I have to. Although I wasn't like too scared about a position like this, I thought it was pretty equal, which is true, because now, I mean, we don't have a ton of pieces and I still have the pair of bishops. As simple as that. And I played d5. d5 is apparently a mistake after knight on f4. I thought it was a pretty good position overall for me. I even wanted to take and then play rook d1, because if you play rook on e2, I'm just going to play bishop on b3. Yeah, but apparently it's not that easy. Apparently it's still much worse, because the king is coming and this pawn is pretty weak. I thought this pawn wasn't that weak overall. Yeah, I really misevaluated this position through pretty much all the game. Okay, but my opponent probably misevaluated the position as well, and I played bishop on b3, still pretty equal. And still fine. I'm trying to bring the king into the game, makes sense. And now f5 is trying to take some space. Apparently bishop on g5 makes a ton of sense, but it is such a complicated position, I'm not sure what to do. My goal is to trade pretty much everything and draw, because I want to reach an opposite color bishop endgame. This is my idea, and I'm close to do that. Now he attacks my bishop, but after bishop on b2, as you can see, this bishop controls pretty much everything. This pawn is kinda weak, so I can say I'm happy with this position. And after he played g5, I had king on e2, but I was scared, too scared to play this move, because he had h5. And I didn't know what to do after that. h5, apparently there is bishop on c4. And I think I get in and I just don't care. Yeah, which makes sense. What I played was stupid instead. Absolutely stupid. I played f3. f3 like doesn't loses, but if you play correctly. The problem with f3 is that now my scatter is frozen permanently. If you manage to get in, I lose. I cannot move this pawn. It is just a stupid move, it doesn't make any sense. I played this move and I wasn't sure about this. I thought it was the best one, since I'm kind of preventing this idea, but it's not even that true. And he played bishop on c5, now his bishop is pretty strong, and I played bishop on e5. Bishop on e5 is a resilient move. It is quite annoying. I'm taking the control of a ton of squares, so I'm pretty happy. And he decided to play this. The point of this is that I have an idea if he plays bishop on d4. So his goal is to trade bishops, because after that is knight against bishop, and the knight in a close position has a lot more of mobility and I'm going to get destroyed. So my goal is eventually to trade this bishop for the knight. So we have opposite color bishops and I draw the game. So he played this, and my idea, I thought it was pretty clever, and was to play bishop on a4. Apparently this is close to losing. I thought it was maybe not an easy draw, but probably, I mean, there had to be a way to draw. The point is that if you move the knight, I win the bishop, so you have to take mine, and I'm going to take the knight. So instead of playing this move, I had bishop on b8 apparently, which was much more resilient. If I play a4, I lose, and so why. I play a4, you take, there is this, and the king gets in, and then not in time at all. You play this, I play this, you waste the time, I am in Zugzwang. Well, apparently I had something better. Bishop c4 now, okay, what if I get in anyway? Bishop d3, so I lose another pawn, yeah, genius. I didn't think about it at all, and I would still probably lose this. So instead of doing all of this stuff, I thought this was pretty holdable. It might be holdable, but I misevaluated this position like too much. I was sure that pretty much every opposite color bishop endgame is a draw. I mean, I know that sometimes it's not, but I mean, a lot of time you draw, even if you are down 2 pawns and just down 1. So there has to be a draw. There is a problem though. This pawn is crazy weak. These pieces are better. This bishop is close to be out of the game. And my opponent is Fide Master. Like, we reached this position and it's not a case. It's not a case if we reached an endgame like this. He knows what he's doing. He thinks he's winning in this endgame. I thought this was an easy draw. I actually thought it was an easy draw at this point. It's not, he's winning for black. So king on d3, the bishop goes back. The problem is that this bishop is just out of the game. And this king is too strong. The only idea I have is to play king on e4 and pray. I didn't play this, I played this instead. And he played a5. And now king on c4, I thought, well, I can just wait and I'm going to draw. After he played this move, I was relieved. I was like, okay, it's a draw. Easy one. Now I'm completely lost. But let's say I played anything else. Let's say bishop on e8. Well, yeah, that's stupid. No, I mean, I'm just completely lost. And I didn't even see this. Like, king on b3, b4. The problem again is that I cannot move this. I lose the pawn. This pawn is defended now by the bishop. I can't go anywhere because it's going to make a queen. And I froze spontaneously, voluntarily, my position. And this is going to be a huge advantage for him. Now he's -8. And we are going to see why. The king gets in and there is absolutely no way. Well, he waited, maybe he was still calculating something. Yeah, there is absolutely no way I can defend. And I calculated pretty much every line and every line was losing. I was so disappointed that I figured out that this endgame was absolutely lost like a ton of moves later. A ton of moves later. This endgame was lost already by many moves. Yeah, he's going to win this pawn too, because I had to defend this somehow. And there is no way I can defend it. There is just no way. And he ended the game in style. I can win the bishop, but he's going to make a queen, and in this position I resigned. And he told me that it was pretty much lost after I played bishop on a4. Bishop on a4, trading into an opposite color bishop endgame. I thought it was an easy draw, it was losing for me. And yeah, you can see the difference between a Fide Master and me. They are just monsters, they are way stronger than me. Like a lot of times I get mad with my games where I made a mistake or something like that. I actually think I played a good game overall. And I'm not even mad, it was just much better than me. From the start to the finish, even in the opening, he told me he had 30 years experience in the Alpine, of course, and yeah, he outplayed me in every part of the game. So yeah, GG to my opponent, and overall this tournament was pretty good. I made 2.5 points out of 5 in the most difficult tournament I ever joined. We were like 20 people and I was 19th, talking about the rating. Everyone was higher rated than me. There were 3 Fide Master, a ton of National Masters, so 2.5 points is pretty good. I actually gained 19 points, so I'm really close to 70-50. So yeah, good tournament. I hope I play another one soon. So yeah, see you soon guys with another chess video.